Asked for a couple questions just on the Khan Academy, and so I figured I'd do a quick video of some of the ones I'm seeing that are most missed. So here's one, for example, 5/3 plus -7/6. All right, the big thing to remember with fractions is remember we can't ever do fractions unless the denominators, 3 and 6, are the same number. So we want to make sure they're the same number. So we got to ask ourselves, what's a common number that 3 and 6 both go into? Um, one we could say is 6, so we could use 6, for example. All right, and I say, well, the one over here on the right, the -7/6, is already has 6 on the bottom, so it can just stay the same. And my question is, how do I get 3 to become 6? And so I'm going to times it by 2, and I do the same thing on top. So I'll say 5 times 2 is 10. And so now you notice that both my denominators are the same, and that way I can add them up. Now I will notice for a second this negative right here, originally in the problem, um, it wasn't there. It was right here. And if that's the case, you can always just bring the negative to the top. So whenever you see a negative, you can always just bring it to the top. And it's nice to keep the numerators negative and the bottoms always positive. So now over here, when we do a common denominator, we could just leave the 6 alone. And now we just have, I'm going to use this space up here, 10 plus -7. And so 10 plus -7, you can either know it right away. You could do tick marks with 10 on top and then 7 on bottom. And you can see that they're all going to cancel out except for 3 of them. So you'd be 3/6. And then 3/6 would reduce to 1/2, or 1/2. All right. Another way to look at this part right here is to kind of look at this whole idea in the very top as 10 plus -7. You could see that as like money. So if I have $10 and I lose 7, then it's going to be 3 again. That's why I get 3/6. All right. Another problem that pops up, there was another missed problem a lot, was like negative 1/2 minus 2/5. All right, so again, the question is, I want to find a number that both 2 and 5 both go into. If you really can't figure it out, multiply them and say, what's 5 times 2? 10. And so I can change them both to tens with a minus in the middle. I'm going to bring this negative up here with the -1, just so I just know that's going to be a negative here. So the question is, how do I get 2 to become 10? I times by 5. So I'm going to do the same thing to the top. All right. How do I make the 5 become 10? I times it by 2. I do the same thing to the top. All right. And so this becomes -5 minus 4. So remember, the denominators always stay the same. I'm going to use this space again over here. And so on the top, I have -5 minus 4. So again, if we think about money for a minute here, again, you're down 5, and then you lose 4 more. That's going to be -9. You could change this to addition, -5 plus -4. I could do it again if a number line, for example. If here's 0 and I'm at -5, -4 means I'm going to go away from 0. So 1, 2, 3, 4, minus 4. So I'd be at -9. And so -9/10 will be my answer there. All right, so I'll do one more just to see how it goes. All right, let's say 9/5 minus -6/10. Now, first of all, I can stop right here, and this is in parentheses. But again, I can get rid of those parentheses right away, so it doesn't do much. So I can get rid of those, and we've done this many times that we have these two minuses right here would just become a plus. When they're right next to each other, they just become plus. So again, I want to figure out a number that 5 and 10 both go into. Again, I could, if I get stuck and I can't think of them, multiply them. Change the 5 to 50, change the 10 to 50, and say, use my common denominator of 50. All right, so you can always use 50, right? Or if you see it right away, what's a number 5 and 10 both go into? They both go into 10. 6/10 stays because it's already 10. 5 times 2 would be 10, so I'd multiply 2 on the top, and so I get 18. All right, and if you want to do it here, times 1, times 1. And so on the bottom here, the 10 stays. 18 plus 6 is 24. All right, Just that's the top 18 plus 6. And so now all of a sudden that 24 over 10, I can reduce it and take half of it. Half of 24 is 12. Half of 10 is 5. All right, so 12 over 5 could be my answer. Or I could say 1 and, sorry, should say 2. 5 goes into 12 two times, right? With 2 left over, so 2 and 2/5. I can use either one of those answers. Or I can sit there and say 2.4, right? So I can say 2.4 would work. So any of those answers are going to be fine. It depends what they're going to ask for here. So I think they want the fraction. So like that idea of 24, 12 over 5 should be fine. 2 and 2/5 should be fine. Either one of those answers is going to be good. So depending how you want to say it. So honestly, let me know if this is like if you need some more help with this, but I can definitely do the best I can with it. But it's just a quick video.